I've never been on a podcast before, and we haven't actually said this to anyone ever before. There's been a point in time where I went into the doctor and they looked at me and said, you need to go to the ER. You should have a heart attack right now. I was an investment banker at the time, so working long hours, consuming a lot of caffeine. I had no intention of starting a company.
Andrew Remlinger is the co-founder of Source, a company that makes supplements in chocolate form. What began as a health journey in a garage is now a multi-million-dollar brand sold in Whole Foods, Sprouts, and Sephora.
He's a wellness, beauty, good-for-you chocolate supplement company.
You said you had 1,500 orders by the end of your first couple of weeks?
Yeah, in the first month.
He co-founded Source with his wife, Jenny, and later brought on a third partner, Haley Dunphy, from Modern Family.
Transparently, I'm not an idea person. That's my partner and my wife. We brought in a partner to support us. Her name's Sarah. She's from Modern Family. She's Haley Dunphy in the show.
Essentially, she's an ambassador for the brand.
Yeah, helps with product development.
So very soon we will see you in a store like a Target or Walmart.
We want to be a household name.
Vlad always says, if I knew what it took to open up and start a supplement company, I would have never done it. Do you have the same feeling towards Source?
I go back and forth in that, honestly.
What's up, guys? Quick break over here. 80% of you guys listening are not subscribers. The more subscribers we get, the bigger and better we can make the show.
And if you've been getting value from Matchbox, please hit that subscribe button below. For you, it's just a click. For us, it means a lot.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course, thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome. 2 months later, here we
2
are.
months later.
Sometimes it takes some time to schedule with busy people.
Yeah,
Doing a lot.
doing a lot. Had a new daughter born, so that threw a wrench in everything, but it's been so much fun seeing her interact with our 15-month-old, so it's been a lot of fun.
15 months and 6 months. 6
6
weeks.
weeks. So
6
they're
weeks.
they're about 14 months apart.
Nice.
How's that running business with?
Oh, it's chaos. But it's organized chaos. It's fun.
Okay.
And even better yet, my partner and my wife is also my business partner.
Yeah.
We can get into that.
That's
It's been a lot
cool.
of fun.
Let's do it.
Well, why don't we start at the beginning? So tell us just a little bit high level about yourself. Tell us about Source, what Source is, and then let's just jump into it.
So I'm Andrew Remlinger. I'm one of the co-founders of Source. We make clinically backed supplements in fun and snackable formats. So it's a chocolate supplement is the first format we've developed. There's a couple here if you can see them. And we create products to help you look and feel your best. So things that can help from like a skin perspective or beauty perspective, from hair to things across sleep, stress, energy, and whatnot.
Wow, very cool. And currently, how can people buy your product? Is it online? Is it in retail? What does that look like?
Yeah, you can buy us online. We're not on Amazon. We will be shortly. You can buy us online in Whole Foods, Sprouts, Sephora. We're at some hotel chains across the U.S., as well as smaller spas as well. But we're really big in the natural channel.
Very cool.
And the website is TrySource.
Yes, the website's trysource.com, and that's S instead of a C in the source.
Mm-hmm. Let's dive into your story. Tell us just in a couple minutes, how did it start? Who started it? What happened?
Yeah,
Your
so
little journey.
it kind of happened out of pain points in my partner in my life. My partner is Jenny. She's my wife and business partner. And we weren't necessarily looking to start a company. I was an investment banker in a prior life, and she was working in the tech industry. And we both, while we were together, had our own heart or health concerns. I have a heart issue and hypertension, and I had some neurological issues. And my wife was going through some anemia type issues. So she was anemic in B12, iron, was deficient, a whole host of other things, despite taking supplements. And she found out this through blood panels and working with her doctor to understand why does she feel terrible, and was showing signs of anemia, and she was anemic. So through that process, we wanted to look at what was going on with the food she was consuming and I was consuming. How could we help supplement with specific things that could help us feel better? And then how could we do that in a more fun and enjoyable way? So 2 key things there were, for me specifically, I was taking a whole host of medications to help combat some sudden concerns or issues I had with my heart, which is a whole other story. And then, so from a pill to fatigue perspective, I was taking a bunch of medications, and transparently, wasn't always remembering to take them. And heart health is unfortunately a large killer of men, especially as they're aging into their 40s and 50s, because it's something that you don't really see. It comes on very suddenly, and I found out that I had extreme and untreated hypertension and
They call it the silent killer.
the silent killer, prolonged and
What was-
extreme hypertension.
If you don't mind sharing, what was your blood pressure readings that you had?
I was in the 170 over 105.
Dang.
So there's been a point in time where I went to the doctor and they looked at me and said, "You need to go to the ER. Like you should have a heart attack right now."
Yeah. Wow.
But I was like totally normal. I was a little shaky.
And did you end up figuring out like what was the cause, or
We're not totally sure. So I have an identical twin brother. We both have hypertension, and we've apparently had it since we were in our early and mid-teens. They didn't think it was as severe at the time. And then, I mean, in your 20s, you think you're invincible. Was occasionally taking my blood pressure at the doctor. It was high. They'd look at me and say, "You look healthy. You work out." I was a collegiate athlete. You should be fine. And I would tell them, "Oh, maybe I took pre-workout or something." And I didn't realize that if you take a pre-workout, your blood pressure may spike for an hour or two. If you have a lot of caffeine, it may spike for an hour or two, but it comes back down. I was getting these readings at the doctor maybe a day or two later. So I wasn't really kind of associating what I was doing was not actually impacting my blood pressure at the time. I ultimately found out later on in life that I was seeing a neurologist for something unrelated, and he looked at my eyes, and there's a vein in my eye, and he looked at me, he's like, "You're gonna have a heart attack if you don't make changes."
Wow.
And I looked at him, and I'm like, "Aren't you supposed to be looking at my brain? Like, why are you speaking about my heart?" And he's like, "This is clear that you've had hypertension for a long time." I think it's called arteriovenous nicking. It's like the vein was bent
Wow.
in my eye.
Wow.
So that was kind of a rude awakening, if you will.
And that led you to
That led me to want to reevaluate my nutrition and what I was consuming, and also my lifestyles. I was an investment banker at the time, so working long hours, consuming a lot of caffeine.
It's high stress, and stress also has a major impact on
And that
blood
was
pressure.
and that was one of the reasons, not the reason, but one of the reasons I ultimately wanted to leave banking and do something else. And through that process, instead of going another avenue, was what led my wife and I to ultimately start Source.
Okay. And with Source, there's no supplements that you made. I mean, the chocolate that you made doesn't really help with blood pressure.
We made a B12 supplement first. I was deficient in that, as was my wife.
Okay.
In that first format, I would kind of think of the company in two phases. One where we were testing it to see if it would work. It looks nothing like you see today. To see if this was something we actually wanted to spend time and money in our potentially careers on. And that first format was B12. My wife was deficient in it. She was anemic from B12 and iron. We didn't want to start an iron supplement in a food format because iron overdoses is extremely harmful. But B12 is water soluble. We've wanted to find a core niche of people that were deficient in B12, just like my wife was. So people who are vegan, vegetarian, who have Crohn's disease, or there's a couple other areas that are susceptible to B12 deficiency, and focus on them to see if people would consume a supplement and a chocolate. And when we started that, it looks nothing like you see today. We created the logo, I think, in PowerPoint, hired a designer in Upwork to design the packaging, and convinced a manufacturer to make the product for us. And in that I think the first 4 or 5 weeks, we sold 1,500 orders.
Wow.
What year was that? When did this
That was the
all
end of
start?
2020.
The end of 2020. So people are very health conscious. There's a pandemic going on. Take me back to the moment when you actually started not just being health conscious, but you were actively thinking about starting a company. Because I feel like it's one thing to be health conscious. You have these things come up. You wanna try and resolve your own health issues, but to want to start a company as inspiration from that, I think is a pretty.
So I actually, and this
big
goes
job.
back to like my wife, who's like more of like the visionary and the idea person. I had no intention of starting a company. I'm not transparently, I'm not an idea person. That's my partner and my wife. I'm more of like the executioner, if you will. So that's where we have great complementary skill sets. I would like to think now I have some ideas and can be a little bit more dangerous around the marketing side of the business, but she really is the idea person or the visionary, if you will. So she had these ideas. How can I help you? How can I help myself or these other people in my life? And we just wanted to start with this B12 product because that was like a really core niche that we could test this. And we felt, or the thesis was, this could solve something for my wife. This could solve something for like this tangential circle of people who we know have this pain point.
So typically, when you think about alternative ways, delivery format for supplements, you think about gummies and chews.
Yep.
Why chocolate?
Great question. At the time, and it's even larger now, gummies blew up as a category from a format perspective in supplements. It's historically pills and capsules or soft gels, and then gummies third. Gummies were, I don't know the data. You could probably pull this and put this on here, but I want to say it's in the 20 or $30 billion category now from just a gummies perspective. For us, there's two key things we wanted to focus on. Pill fatigue was like kind of my pain point on not wanting to take a bunch of pills. And then two, absorption or efficacy was something we were really focused on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that my wife saw. She was taking supplements and she was still deficient in specific things. So the efficacy, or she wasn't able to absorb them as effectively. So we wanted to look to see what could be a new format, and gummies was one. It was already a proven format. But we stumbled across other food-based formats that we thought could be great delivery systems, and dark chocolate kept coming back and again and again. And through some of our research, we saw that there were pharmaceutical companies in the 80s and 90s that filed preliminary patents on using dark chocolate as a delivery system for calcium. So our thought was, why hasn't this been done before? There are larger format calcium chocolates. I think there's a couple of them that have been around for a little while, but really never took off. But there's issues with chocolate, and there's also amazing reasons and why chocolate's a great delivery system, and they kind of counteract.
Chocolate on itself is a superfood.
Yes, dark chocolate on itself is an amazing food. It's rich in polyphenols and other antioxidants to help prep the body microbiome to absorb nutrients more effectively.
So it helps absorption.
It helps absorption.
Wow.
So that was like our aha moment, is like this can aid in absorption, whether it's water soluble and something can be absorbed sublingually, or if it's a fat soluble and it can be absorbed in your digestive system, and the dark chocolate can act as like a prebiotic to help with that aid and aid in that absorption. So we realized this, but then the question was, okay, why hasn't this been done?
If you had to say, are you a chocolate company or are you a supplement?
Great question. We are a supplement company, but people do view us as a chocolate. So we do have products that are very clinically dosed. Everything is clinically dosed, but there are things that we position. It's more so on the beauty side and wellness side, but things that you can take and see an immediate result, or things that you take and are a long-term use that you need to take for 30 plus days to see results. We are a supplement company at our heart, and we'll always create products that kind of center around creating a better, to help you feel better about yourself, but they're delicious. So we definitely have consumers see us as a chocolate company.
He's a wellness, beauty, good for you chocolate supplement.
Throw everything under there.
What more could you want?
But it's like when someone's walking in the grocery store, like, where are you placed is like the question. So we've been in the supplement aisle, and what we're positioning and going to be pitching now is people do view us in other areas. Like, how can we have multi-world selling within a grocery store and within a store? We're going to be testing that. The price point is a little interesting, so we're going to be coming out with different pack sizes that we can play in other areas of the store.
Let's go back to 2020. End of 2020, you said you had 1,500 orders by the end of like your first couple of weeks.
Yeah, in the first month. So we launched, and this is to my wife's credit, to her point on like, let's create a product that solves a need for a very specific audience, and how can we go after them in like the cheapest or no cost method as possible, because we were bootstrapped at this point and self-funded. And we found a partner or a newsletter that catered towards a vegan and vegetarian population. I'm not vegan, but my wife was at the time and was vegetarian, and we wanted to partner with them to introduce an offer just to see how it would work. And it was
a newsletter.
It was a newsletter.
What was the deal? Just rev share, or
no? I think it was a couple $100.
Oh, just okay.
We just paid
one-time fee.
Yeah, one-time fee.
$200 and you got thousands of orders, or 1,500 orders.
Yeah, it was. I mean, average order value at that time was probably $30. It's changed now, so it was a $45,000 a month.
Are you still
$45,000?
Yeah,
and that led you to start basically. Okay, this is it. Let's go all in.
Yeah. I mean, there was probably a couple weeks before that where like I was like, oh, we need to test thing, or like wait to not launch the site, not do this yet. And my wife is always like, you're the, I'm forgetting the saying, but it's like the enemy of perfect. I'm forgetting the saying, but anyway, she wanted to launch.
Perfectionist?
Yeah, she's not a perfectionist. She wants things to be good, but not wait so long to launch that you are you're your own biggest enemy. So we launched and was quite successful at the launch. So we're like, okay, this has legs. We should probably figure out how we can create more of a brand around this as opposed to, I mean, I can find a picture of the packaging. It was someone paying $30 for that at that point really wanted the product and did not care about the brand. This was solving a specific need for them and they wanted this.
So that $45,000 a month, it led you to think that you're onto something big.
Yeah.
And you're going to launch, you're going to perfect it, and all of a sudden you're going to.
Oh yeah. At the time we thought for sure, like this is going to be easy.
It's like you had the rose glasses.
Yeah, and at some point you need that. You got to be a little extremely optimistic to start a company. And I think like everyone needs that in some capacity because otherwise you wouldn't be able to weather the storm, if you will, or the highs and lows.
Interesting.
Or Source would never ever happened
Oh, no.
if that newsletter wouldn't pan out. You know, you spend a couple $1,000s to pay and you get what? 17 orders or like 20 orders.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, it's not working. And then you go back to your old job and you just continue the life.
Yeah, and at that time I had left my I was no longer a banker. I was consulting for other like fitness concepts like Orange Theory, some food businesses, helped another business get acquired. Was potentially going to go become an investor, but I found that like the operator side was more interesting, but also stressful in different ways. But yeah, your point.
Did you know that it's going to be that stressful?
Oh, no. No, like I thought like I came from the finance world. You think that you know everything. We dealt with high growth food and bev and beauty and personal care businesses that were on a rocket ship. So you're like, I know what the model looks like and the brand looks like for a great business, but it's completely different on how you get to that point.
Yeah.
Man. So, okay. I'm still so fascinated with these 1,500 orders. How did you fulfill them? Because I feel
that is a phenomenal question. So it was COVID, end of COVID.
Because you probably didn't have 1,500 packages sitting in your garage ready to ship.
So we had ordered, this is like negotiating with your manufacturers. We had a third of a pallet delivered. We were trying to sign with the not a contract manufacturer, with a 3PL in South San Francisco or in the greater West Coast. But at that point, no one was really wanting to bring on a new client when it was like COVID was ripping and so we had a partial pallet shipped to a friend's warehouse that we picked up and fulfilled.
Like with the pickup truck or?
No, we broke it down. So we had a friend who like happened to have warehouse space and who had like a separate marketplace business. So we were fortunate there. Didn't have to pay anything for it. And then we were like, oh shoot, we need to figure out how to fulfill these. And we fulfilled them ourselves.
Just manually.
Yeah. So we didn't have anyone to do this and we needed to fulfill products. So we, at night from like, I've got videos of this from at night from like, and I was still consulting at this time. So I'd like to get things done for people during the day. At night, my wife and I would go to this place and pack boxes until like 2 or 3 a.m. We quickly got a 3PL after that, but we had to, there's probably 2 or 3 weeks there where during the week or weekend we would fulfill orders.
So after you see this immediate success, what are the next steps you're starting to take?
We realized that if we actually wanted to continue to grow, we weren't going to be able to self-fund this ourselves. It's a vicious cycle, and if you are growing, you constantly need money for inventory or however you want to acquire new customers, cash flow purposes. Also, like if we wanted to do this full time and not work, like we needed to have some sort of pathway to the financial stability with the business. So we decided, hey, we might want to raise some money. Was very challenging at that point because once you start growing, people want to know, okay, what is your month-over-month growth? What's your plans? And our branding was pretty poor at that point. But the pitch there was, we have this proof point with this one product. We're going to open up the product line to a couple other categories that are larger, that have bigger market opportunities than B12 specifically. and then to use a small amount of that money that we raised to create the brand you see today.
So you went from basically you started in 2000s during COVID. 5 years later now, can you tell us about where the company is now, which stores you're in, your monthly?
Yeah,
let's say
so we took kind of an opposite approach on most supplement brands, and we went retail first after this initial launch. Today we're in, I want to say, 1,750 doors, Whole Foods, Sephora, Sprouts, a bunch of hotels across the country. One Hotels is a big partner of ours. Spas, like other esthetician services that have our beauty products. The plan in the next 12 to 18 months is to expand into mass market or a conventional retailer. And we're in discussions with a couple of those right now. And it's just about having the right partner and the right team or the right buyer at that group to launch the product.
Yep. And your yearly forecasted revenue for this year?
We should hit 8 figures.
8 figures? Okay. Let's talk about fundraising, because this is the part where it's a very challenging part. Not a lot of people are able to do it. There's lots of companies in early stages where you were in 2020, 21, 22, when you made potentially your first $500 to $1 million. And you realize this is cash flow intensive. We need partners. We need more than just, bootstrapping our company. It's just impossible to grow. And the competitive landscape of supplements, we know it's insane.
It's extremely competitive.
Extremely competitive. Just go search for any product on Amazon, B12, magnesium, whatever it is, you're going to see hundreds of products.
Yeah.
And on Meta, everybody's fighting for that ad space. Okay, I know a little bit about your fundraising story. Can we dive into, because I know it's been turbulent.
Yep.
But a lot of people can't even raise $100K. So tell us how it started.
Yeah, so the first part, when we needed we're attempting to raise money in 2021 to rebrand what you see today, and to be able to hire an individual or two to help support the growth of the business. We were trying to pitch, got VC lists of consumer VCs, but at that point it didn't seem like no one was investing in pre-revenue businesses coming out of or in COVID. So we went the friends and family route. And at that point, I just tried to canvas anyone under the sun. So it's like you talk to one person and it leads you to someone else and it leads to someone else. And then
it's like a spider web.
It's a spider web. And we were told that by other people that we had worked with, or we tried to talk to anyone under the sun, people who were successful or not successful, got shot down hundreds of times. And we were told that you need to get to like 200 no's to get a yes. And that was pretty defeating to hear. And every time you'd get a no from someone, it was really
another check mark.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like we're at like 50, 55. But then eventually it kind of started to snowball, where you get like a yes from someone. It's like, okay, I'm in for 20, we're attempting to raise 500,000. I'm in for 25,000. I'm in for 50,000. And then things start snowballing. And then in 2021, forget what month.
So what's the reason of that snowball? Is it because there's traction in fundraising?
There's traction in fundraising.
So when you have some sort of commitment from a few people, the fourth or fifth potential investor will say, well, if they said yes, most likely I'm
I don't want to say it's FOMO, but to a certain extent it is. Like if there's very interesting people or someone that you respect or regard highly has decided to put their money in and believe in you, then there's other people who may know them are more inclined to do it.
Okay.
But the hardest part is getting those first couple of yeses, especially with an early stage business, and the majority of companies fail, for better or for worse.
So your first 500,000
was friends and family.
Friends and family.
Pieced together through
25K checks, 50K checks.
5K here and there.
Even 5K.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But those all came in kind of collectively, but we didn't want to put a floor on it, because at that point, like, we felt that getting more momentum and having people in who had some credibility or like were able to help us in any way or shape or form.
Okay. Can you talk about valuation? What type of a deal were you giving those
At that point, it was a $5 million valuation on a safe note.
on a safe note? Okay. And what was the revenue?
I think we were around 500,000.
Wow. This was 2022?
No, this is before that.
It's 21?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So how long did it take you to raise $500,000?
I mean, we probably would have tried to raise before we ever started the company. So like it probably took 9 months, 12 months.
Wow.
I mean, like before we started and launched, we wanted to raise money because
So this was before that big win with the newsletter?
no, this was after that.
Okay.
And this was after that we had that and we're like, this is great. We had a great month. Let's go raise money. And it takes a long time.
I'm sure you probably use that as like a cornerstone of your pitch. Like, how did you actually say it sitting across the table from somebody over coffee or a beer or whatever? Like, how did you phrase what happened with that newsletter?
We had it's like we had a great month. We just launched. We did this in our first month. We're looking to bring on new capital. Would love to have you as a partner to build Source into what we believe this can be and be a household name. And then the next question is, okay, what's the next month? And we were like,
We didn't have a next month. We
no,
didn't do
like
anything.
like we just had this great month,
And that's it.
and that's it. And we had a reasonable repeat rates. We were not a subscription focused business at that time from like how we were positioning the products, which we certainly are now. But the big difference is in like repeat rates on a subscription versus one-time purchase. Even if it's the same customer, it's going to be drastically less on the one-time purchase. So the next
Why didn't do it again? So
Did what?
if you had this great month, 45K, why not repeat and try to do $100,000 a month? Maybe find a bigger newsletter, things like that.
because once you try to go, we had a sweetheart of a deal, and newsletters are extremely expensive. We talked to a couple others that we thought could be great fits. They wanted $10,000. There's a very well-known one that wanted $25,000 for one email, and we did maybe one or two other ones that were in the couple $100 range or $500 range that were not as productive. And it was still our money. We hadn't raised any money, so
You basically were stuck.
yeah.
You
And
were
we
like,
weren't
okay,
we weren't meta experts, or I didn't come from a performance marketing background, so didn't really understand that channel, and didn't want to go spend our money on that or hire other people at this point until we were able to have a little bit more of a capital cushion.
And you and your wife have a full-time job. You started Source. You had this great month. It's tough to convince investors to actually believe in you because
So I had left my job, but I was consulting full time.
okay.
And the people that were making introductions, I was consulting for. So effectively, I had a full-time job. And their first question is, are you doing this full time? And also, some people don't like when you work with your partner or your wife.
That's a big obstacle too.
Yeah.
For some.
For some see as a positive. Unfortunately, a lot of people see that as a potential issue.
Do you recall how many investors total invested in that $500,000 round?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably
20.
around there.
Wow.
A couple of them made up the larger. There's probably one or two that wrote $100,000 check.
Okay.
And how did it work, like mechanically, right? You finally got to 500,000 from 20 people in total. And then what, you just went back down the list and called, hey, we're at 500,000 now. Like that $5,000 check that you promised, like I'm ready for it. Like how did that actually work?
You don't really go back to someone who said no typically.
But not no, but
who
the
committed?
yeses, right?
Oh, with the yeses. Oh yeah, you go back to them. Hey, we got the round. Like here it is. But we started doing. That came over a long period of time, and so we had a couple closes. So it's not like $500,000 came in at once. It was like over the course of time.
I see. So it's not like you had a lead investor and you're waiting for them.
No.
You got a $5,000 check from that meeting, like it's in the bank. You're on to the next one. I see.
Well, we tried to like group them together into like all right, here's like the first tranche, here's the second tranche, here's the third.
Okay. And what did that 500K give you?
Gave us runway and the ability to rebrand what you see today, launch a new website, launch new products, and then set the foundation for launching into Whole Foods.
Okay. But what about Sephora deal?
That was not around.
That was not around.
That was in 2023.
So it basically you had a foundation to start.
Yes.
So 500K gave you enough just to prep the company to start scaling.
Exactly.
But we're not talking about sales. Not much.
We were still growing each month, probably between 5 to 10%. We started going after like mom and pop retailers, like in the region, like natural grocers, like anyone who we thought could have this product, we were talking to. Like in San Francisco, up and down the West Coast, we'd walk into stores, like local stores, and see who we could sell through. We were selling through Fair. We were having people come direct. We're trying to figure out how we can get product into anyone's hands.
And
That
all retail.
all retail. We did some like telehealth, or like people that had subscription boxes would find us through like some of these newsletters that we felt didn't pan out. But just like, how can we get product in people's hands?
But that seems like such a manual
Yeah, it was.
attempt. Why, in the world of social media, like TikTok just became a thing, why did you take the retail route? Why did you take the physical route instead of trying to do everything
Because
digital?
it's probably what I had more familiarity with when I was a banker. We dealt with businesses that were big in retail, and most of the time, .com was a smaller channel. And most of those, in hindsight, were like bar businesses or coffee businesses, or things that are more like food or not even perishables, but things that are like grabbing on the go, if you will, which are more predisposed to retail. But that's just kind of what I knew. And I knew that what the margin profiles looked there. I knew like what typical sell-ins looked like really to be highly focused on velocity and like what type of, like what the stepping stones these brands had done when they started was like, all right, we started mom and pop natural channel stores in your region and really focus there, and then try to like expand out into slightly
It's
larger.
more of a more old school route.
It is, which is why at that point why we went that route, and that's what I knew.
Do you regret not trying to go
We should have
online?
more aggressively launched on .com, yeah, and Amazon,
TikTok.
and TikTok, yeah.
Even Instagram would still probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And so are you running ads now?
We are running ads now, and we'll be launching on Amazon shortly. Amazon will be interesting because I personally view it as a huge demand capture channel. And for us, which we're a little bit more novel, there's a lot of competition. For something new, you really need to create demand off Amazon. So like that's where TikTok really comes into play. So we are recently started advertising on Meta. We'll be launching a program on TikTok as well.
Yeah, I don't believe you can be successful without having Amazon. So you've got your ads running on Meta, you've got TikTok, you've got some top of the funnel campaigns on YouTube, but it all, goes.
It all
down.
converges down to Amazon.
Yeah, and like I've learned this now through a lot of others, that Amazon is such an amazing channel. And I think the stat is, don't quote me on this, but 50% of supplement searches start on Amazon.
70,
Yeah, it's probably higher.
70%.
Majority of supplement searches start on Amazon.
So
my supplement searches start on
Andrew,
Amazon.
I want to go back to the raising the money, because the story doesn't end there. The 500K, you probably spend it within what?
Yeah. So we were then going to raise a seed round, pretty quickly, and we were going to raise a seed round, and we had brought on another partner at the start who came on as part of that initial. We would call it an early investment pre-seed round, what have you. We brought in a partner to support us, and then we were going to go raise money.
Who's that partner?
Her name's Sarah. She's from Modern Family, and she had a.
Modern Family is a show?
Modern Family is a show. She's Haley Dunphy in the show. And we were trying to, at the point, you're trying to talk to anyone who would either want to talk about the product or potentially invest in you. And one of my partner's college friends was on on her team at WME, which is how we got introduced to her. And instead of wanting to invest or talk about the product, she wanted to get more involved with the brand. She has a pretty wild health journey or health story. She has had 2 kidney transplants and lives with a couple like an autoimmune disease, I believe. She could speak better to that, but she's been very vocal about this. While she was filming Modern Family, she was on dialysis and was having to take a whole host of medications to make sure that she could survive, and wanted to this thought of creating a new format supplement that helps reclaim that experience, and something that feels medicinal shouldn't be something that you want to help better yourself, should feel enjoyable. So this thought of like a chocolate format that we could deliver products that not only help her and other people in her life, but others who watch her. So that's ultimately why we created a hair growth supplement, because from side effects of medication she has, and creating products that others can take who have or who are immunocompromised.
And she's been partners since then. She
Yeah.
never invested.
She put in some money and then came
She
on the
did.
cap table and is now like a founder in terms of what she's doing with her own, like,
She's pretty active.
she's pretty active and
Essentially, she's an ambassador for the brand.
yeah, helps with product development. We see it as distribution, and like retail distribution she was extremely critical in expanding our retail distribution
Okay.
and doing it in a way where you don't have to pay as much.
Good to know. Good to know.
Retail is still expensive to expand. But the access you can get, and you can get in sooner or quicker if you have someone that folks like.
Like her.
Yeah.
Now, the 500K that you spent, how long did it?
We ended up raising a seed round, or a larger round, in what year are we in? We went to raise at the start of 2022. At the end of
So
21.
6 months later,
Yeah.
you spend the 500K. You were like, okay,
We didn't spend it all at that point, but we knew that if we wanted to expand and consistently expand,
You need to
and
raise another round.
the revenue plan that we had built, we needed to raise more money.
Did being an investment banker help you, or were you like too much in your head? And it was
That's a
actually
great
your wife
question.
had to like take you, be like, no,
No,
Andrew.
that is a phenomenal question. I would say there are definitely times I was way too in the weeds in terms of like the model and like what we needed to do. That at that point, it's more about brand building, storytelling, selling the vision.
It's not on the Excel sheets.
No, it's not. But I was very comfortable in Excel sheets, for better or for worse. I would say it helped us set us up from a margin profile, and to be able to help like establish a supply chain that was a little bit more novel or different, because there's several steps in what we do. We don't just go to like one contract manufacturer and ask for the formula and it's delivered. But was very comfortable in Excel sheets, and sometimes was there too much.
And what does the dynamic look like with your wife, your partner? It seems like she's the visionary. She's like out there, like kind of extroverted. You're in the spreadsheets. You're trying to figure out what the numbers are and the burn rates and run rates and everything.
So we like to there's like three things. Jenny handles more of like product marketing, basically front facing. I historically have been basically, how do we get all of that built, like back facing finance ops, like how do we deliver things and have the product to sell? Operations side. And then Sarah was supporting on and handling distribution, like whether that's physical, retail, like or digital.
So Sarah will go out in the field and ink the deal with Sephora.
Yeah, or like with Whole Food, like we'll go in person for those, or like go do like events, or show up at trade shows or things like that to help like spread the word, but also like the human interaction or the human element is a big thing that
because you have to talk to the buyers.
yeah, and you have to in the same way with like
face-to-face.
in the same way you're selling an investor to raise or to put money into your company, you're also selling a buyer that they should make a bet and bring you in, especially as a new brand.
Yeah, especially as an unknown brand. It's like the risk is so high, and for them every failure is just so expensive. And it's the reputation and it's their career, basically. If they bring on too many new companies that don't sell, they take up space, and it's
less productivity in that store, and then that directly reflects on them.
And a lot of these retail locations don't exactly have the biggest profit margins either.
No.
Yeah. So you mentioned story. It's interesting because I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern. The common denominator between the three founders is a personal journey with their own health. How do you feel like that impacts?
It's something we haven't told. We have not communicated that as well with our customers and consumers, and that's a huge focus for us now. Is I liked to be kind of like behind, we all like to be kind of behind the scenes except for Sarah, but like we all need to be more communicative and tell that story because I mean, it hits home for all of us. And when we have told that story, especially in person at some of these events we do across our retailers, it's eye opening for like, hey, like my daughter had that same issue, or like my father had a similar issue from like a heart perspective. Like that makes sense.
And it instantly relates to people, and they find this
Yeah,
connection with you.
and this is a product we sample. So like it's chocolate, it's fun, it's delicious. It's kind of like a context switch, and when someone's like talking about a supplement, it's typically in a different form. So it's interesting and it's a conversation starter, and then you can start talking about the story, about what it's helpful for. We have a full product line or a product assortment. It's pretty fun. Sampling's pretty fun.
Man. And sampling, you mentioned Whole Foods and like road shows. What other places are you guys sampling at?
Whole Foods has been the big focus of the day. We're across Sprouts. We do it at some of our hotel partners. We've done it at Sephora. Those are the big key ones. We'll also do them at like trade shows or other college campuses, or basically anywhere we can get product in like a congregation of people that it may make sense. So we've done it at Core Power. We've done it at a handful of yoga and Pilates studios across the country. Really anywhere that people in like a health conscious mindset are gathering and grouping together.
Okay. The seed money that you said, the pre-seed makes sense, 500K, then you raised more money. What was the amount? I'm going back because...
Yeah, so we haven't, I've never been on a podcast before, and we haven't actually said this to anyone ever before, apart from some of our investors. We had a strategic investor that we had that helped, someone there had helped us with some formulation work that we own all of the IP for. And they said, hey, we want to invest. And we said, great. That ended up lasting 6 months, and we were able to raise a couple other investors in as part of that round. That strategic investor was dragging its feet and making excuses.
So he committed, but the investment didn't come in yet.
The strategic investor, which is a strategic investor is a large company that operates in the space. This strategic investor is well over 10 billion in revenue.
Okay.
They wanted to invest and wanted to take the majority of the round, which we thought we were going to raise 2 million. And then we were like, oh, we'll raise a little bit more. Like, this would be great. We'll never raise again.
So the goal was 2 million.
The goal was 2 million. They said, would you take 4?
Okay.
And we said yes. Got into negotiations and document drafting. Legal fees were running up, but we kept getting told that yes, this will close, this will close. This is just the normal. This is business as usual with working with a strategic. And in my prior life, I knew as a banker with working with strategics versus financial. So financials are like private equity investors or people with a fund or dedicated pool of money to invest and acquire businesses. They're in the business of doing deals. Strategics are not always in the business of doing deals. They'll do it when it makes sense to acquire a business or potentially invest in a business to eventually acquire them. I knew it could take longer. This was like the perfect storm of events where they kept dragging their feet and then the market fell out. This was July 2022.
Do you think they were purposely dragging their feet?
No. I know what happened, and I won't get into the specifics on that, but the deal lead for us left, and they were having some other internal reasons that they didn't invest, but they internally said we left them at the altar, and we feel bad. But what's a $2 million investment for a
multi-billion
$20 billion company that they're focused on delivering EPS and
What do you mean by saying we left them at the altar?
We had documents, everything done to sign. We had board, everything was done. We had spent a substantial amount of money in legal fees.
Okay. So you didn't raise the 4 million, but you did raise 2.
And that came in over the course of time. So we had raised, like, some of our existing investors reinvested.
Okay.
We were able to group that together, which was great. But we they were big and extremely focused on us growing. So we were spending money with the expectation that we were going to have this additional 2.5 million come in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So they did kind of throw you under the bus.
100%.
Okay. And it's not good for everyone who invested prior because you just burned a bunch of money.
It was terrible.
What was the feeling at that point? Were you afraid that potentially everything could go under?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, not necessarily go under because we felt we could make changes and we had a good margin profile, but the growth potential on the company would be
Diminished.
because you have to thread a needle on if you are raising money, you have to thread a needle on the balance of your growth, your burn rate, your valuation, and getting people together and collectively deciding to invest at one time. It's very challenging. And we felt we had that, and then it was pulled out and it got canned. And then the venture market fell off a cliff, and the market fell off a cliff in 2022.
It did. Nobody was investing.
Nobody was investing. Consumer dried up.
Everything was
completely
paused.
crashing. I think rates started raising, so funds to stop deploying. IPO market was shut off, I believe.
Cash became extremely expensive and valuable.
Yeah, and so why invest in a startup when you can go put money into a money market fund or a debt-like fund with rates rising? Like the risk profile didn't make sense, and I understood that from an investor standpoint, but from a founder standpoint, we were in a tough spot.
Did you close that round?
We had closed some of it, nowhere near the amount we wanted.
Okay, how much did you close?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's probably under a million.
Under $1 million.
Yeah.
That was 2023.
Again, we had several closes, so that was over the course of 2023. We raised a little. Yeah, it was while I call it one round, it was over the course of time, or like over a year maybe.
And then you raised again.
That was the same round we raised recently. Yes.
Okay. Did you close the round or it's still going?
No, we closed that round.
Okay. So that was official seed round of 2 million.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And where you are now? What's the next 3 to 5 years?
The next 5 years, we want to be a household name. Our plan is to expand into mass market and a conventional retail partner, to launch on Amazon and to invest and spend time on .com. So that's advertising across Meta, TikTok, and really tell the story and why our retail partners have really bet on us, and to really better communicate why chocolate, why this product, and why Source.
So very soon we will see you in a store like a Target or Walmart.
Something along those lines. The
next couple of years.
A little bit sooner than that.
Sooner than that. Okay.
For somebody who owns the brand, actually being in a Walmart or Target, like, does it actually back out the numbers? Or is it more of just a brand recognition thing and then you're banking on the association?
I would say 10 years ago, you could launch, and I will welcome debate on this. I'd say 10 years ago, you could launch in a mass market retail and not have a presence online and be successful if you had money up front. Today, I do not believe that is the case. I do not believe you can be I personally do not view you can be a retail only business without having an omni-channel approach and creating demand online.
But I'm saying the opposite, right? Why not just go full digital?
That is because having an omni-channel approach, if you're spending money online, I still believe that spending money online, you need to have multiple impressions before someone will ultimately decide to spend their money on your product. So if they're seeing you on Meta, if they're seeing you on TikTok, if they're seeing you elsewhere online, and then they're walking the shelves or walking the aisle at a supermarket, having that other touch point, we believe will have each dollar you spend on digital go even further.
Yeah. It's true. It's the same. It's pretty much top of the channel. You've got top of the funnel approach with YouTube, and then eventually people end up on Amazon and buy your product, or eventually they're buying groceries in the store, and they see Source. Oh, I've seen these guys on TikTok. Oh, I've seen these guys on YouTube. Well, let me give it a shot. And making that purchase, it's seconds. Taking a product, putting in your cart, it takes seconds. That's it. It's already bought. So it's even easier than buying on Amazon, because on
Yeah.
Amazon you have to go to the website, you have to type
And then
in.
wait for it. So it's like that instant gratification. And if you're able to generate a lot of awareness and people can like, oh, I don't know where I saw you. That's like when you really see that you're kind of reaching an escape velocity, that there's these brands that you will see constantly if you're on social media. Like you'll probably, if you click on an ad or click on a brand, you'll see a lot of similar competitors. Those are the ones who are spending a lot of money and investing online. And those are the ones who are being extremely successful as they expand across a lot of retailers at once, is because they have this built-in demand so that when someone is walking the aisle, the first time they see this product is not in store. They've seen you online or they've seen you elsewhere.
And sometimes it's subconscious. They go around the aisle and there's 3 products and they picked one and they don't even know why.
They don't even know they got sort of the impression.
They don't even know why they're picking this product, but subconsciously they've seen it, and it's just
Yeah,
gravitates.
because there's going to be competitors on the shelf with you in almost every case.
Yep,
May-
exactly.
Whether I mean on Amazon there's thousands or hundreds of thousands, but at the store there's maybe 3 or 4 options or 5 or 6 depending on where you are. Maybe there's only 2, but having that ability to have that subconscious impact on a consumer is incredible.
How do you think about taking Source from just being a product that you try, or it's an interesting thing you do once, you see it on the store shelf, to it being subscription based? Like, this actually solves a problem in my life. If you think about a supplement, most people, you mentioned pill popping, right? Most people, they'll take supplements to try and fix something, and there's something chronic, or there's something that there's potentially a customer for the rest of their life with, right? Do you feel like it having a very enjoyable delivery mechanism like chocolate makes it almost work against you in a way, from it being something that's incorporated into your daily activity? Or do you feel like it only helps? Because I feel like the way Source becomes a household name and also is extremely profitable is that people don't just think about it as, oh, this is chocolate and it has B12, or it's chocolate and it has magnesium. They're thinking this is magnesium or this is B12, and I'm going to buy this versus anything else because it's chocolate and I enjoy taking it. And I'm going to have the subscription model for indefinitely. I don't have a stop the subscription idea in my mind, right? Once you hit subscribe, you know it's a part of your routine.
I think we view it as a product that solves a pain point or an issue. So like our hero products are our magnesium chocolate for relaxation and sleep, and our skincare chocolate. The hair growth one is coming up there as well. But something we see from like a subscription perspective is the 2 products that are on the beauty side, so skin health and hair health. Those are not acute. And acute meaning you take those today, it's not like a serum. Like you eat this chocolate, your skin's not immediately hydrated. But your skin, like for skin glow, for example, your skin is your largest organ in your body. We all can understand that if you eat poorly, you can see breakouts or you'll have inflammation in your skin. You should be able to nourish and feed your skin. So the active ingredients in this are clinically proven to hydrate skin, improve skin elasticity and moisture retention, and help with wrinkle reduction. And especially in the winter months, it really helps lock in moisture. It helps like replenish and bring ceramides to your skin, which are kind of like the cement to help retain moisture. And communicating that, and then, it's also a delicious chocolate that you can incorporate into your day easily and you want to take. That is a sell. And that's how we've seen consumers want to subscribe and stay subscribed. So positioning on like how it works, it's also chocolate. So it's not just a chocolate that happens to have these benefits. It's kind of making sure that we communicate and educate, which does take a lot more on the front end. It takes a lot of time and money and education on like how do you package and deliver that in a succinct manner.
In the beginning of the podcast, you said that it's science-backed supplement. Can you talk about that? What type of science?
Yeah, so we have a microbiologist and a doctor who formulate and look at all of our ingredient formulations and profiles. And then the big thing here is like, how did we make this work in chocolate? Chocolate, especially a small format. There's some things we apply to that process to make it work in chocolate, so it's stable. it tastes okay or is palatable because chocolate melts in your mouth. You get a lot of those flavor profiles on the front end. So we were to work with a couple folks on the formulation side as also food scientists to make this actually work in chocolate.
So does that allow you to do certain claims?
Yeah, we can make claims, and we've run clinicals on vitamin B12 absorption in this versus a pill and a gummy.
Is that expensive to do?
That was expensive. It was in the
much?
$30,000 range.
$30,000
Yeah.
per product.
We ran it on one product.
Okay. B12?
Yeah, we wanted to prove out the efficacy of the water soluble active in this versus an alternative format.
I know your products work because I have a story to share with my kids.
Oh yeah.
When I got a bunch of products for sleep, and all of a sudden, my little kids, my 3-year-old at the time, 3.5, and the 5-year-old sneaked into our cabinet and found those chocolates. And we didn't know about that because they hid them in the room. They ate a bunch of them. And guess what? For the next few days, they've been eating them. And for the next few days, something's going on with our children. They fall asleep in the car. We bring them home. They fall asleep on the sofa. And we have very, very active kids. And my wife was like, something's going on. And we started being concerned. We're like, because we heard those stories where sometimes, in the childcare or they would give them melatonin. And then my wife finds an empty package of your product. So it definitely works for people that are, want to enjoy something that tastes really good. And
yeah, we've been asked about kids' products, but that's maybe something we'll expand to in the future. But
I mean, it's okay. Just hearing the anecdote. I mean, for what it's worth, for like my current stage of life, I've got a young boy. He's 2. And he just fights us on going to bed, and it sucks. Like it's not like it's hard. It's a tough thing. And in my mind, as you're saying that, Vlad, I'm like, oh, as soon as this podcast is done, I'm gonna go and buy some of your product just to try and put up to sleep. Because I feel like that's
our 15-month-old right now goes to sleep very quickly. I have a feeling from 2.
because of your product.
No, we don't give her any of these yet. She's just getting teeth now. But I feel like once she hits 2, we are going to have to launch a kids line out of our own pain point.
But is it completely fine for kids to
It's fine, but we would have like slightly different dosages in a smaller format. I think that these pea sizes might be a little bit big for a younger kid.
For a 5-year-old, it's not.
Probably fine, but we would have different dosages, and we would certainly have a childproof
They
container.
chew them up and they just
They're out.
knocked out.
That's interesting. And so, what's the mechanism for sleep? Is it just the magnesium?
So we have 2 products. One's with melatonin, one's without melatonin. But for the magnesium product, it's magnesium glycinate. Or forgive me, we have one with magnesium glycinate. This one's with magnesium gluconate, which is another chelated form of magnesium. L-theanine, vitamin B6, and apigenin, which is an extract from chamomile.
Interesting.
And that's
and that relaxes you.
That
relaxes the
relaxes you.
muscles.
Yeah, so like there's a big kick to go against melatonin for a lot of the population now. Melatonin still is one of the most purchased sleep supplements, but it is just certainly habit forming. Magnesium and this botanical blend is a helpful way to help relieve stress and relax, if you will. And for me and for a lot of people, like your mind's racing at night. Like that's why you're not going to sleep or falling asleep.
I don't want to fall asleep.
You won't necessarily fall asleep, but you'll eventually you will start feeling relaxed, and especially taking them consistently is when you can help unwind. And like if you're in a high stress environment, like that's the biggest thing. It's like you can't shut off your brain.
So good.
And they're delicious. So
These are like little M&Ms.
Taking them consistently is the key. Melatonin is acute and it will knock you out, but a lot of people have the issue of waking up in the middle of the night when the melatonin wears off. So this is supposed to be more solving kind of like the root cause of stress and trying to help you relax and unwind, as opposed to going after your circadian rhythm with melatonin.
How does the chocolate interact with the magnesium? Does it expedite the
Well, it actually helps the absorption.
It helps the absorption.
Why?
You can start absorbing things sublingually or things that are absorbing in your digestive tract. It's dark chocolate's prebiotic, so it's packed with these polyphenols and other antioxidants that help aid your body break down that active quicker. I would say the quickest or easiest example is when you're younger and you're taking a multivitamin. You're always told to take that with food. And the reason for that is there's fat soluble actives in that multivitamin, and consuming it with a food or a fat helps your body break down that multivitamin.
Interesting.
That's like when we're talking to a retailer or someone, like that's typically like an aha moment. Like, okay, I understand that because I was told that when I was younger, or I was told that when I'm
Yeah.
seeing the doctor.
Sorry to cut you off, but that idea of, hey, you have chocolate with the vitamins helps absorption. When you said that, it's just such a strong, powerful click for me. I'm like, damn, why don't we take all of our like vitamins with chocolate? It just makes so much sense.
I know, and pharmaceutical companies looked at this in the 80s and 90s, but it's harder to formulate.
Yeah.
The supply chain is much more challenging, and the supply chain and manufacturing process is much more challenging.
But you've got it.
Yeah.
You figured it out. Is there a lot of competitors in your niche?
There's been a couple that have launched or are coming into the market recently, and we welcome that because like it will bring and lift the category. And educating is the big piece here. Like white chocolate, that seems a little weird. It's positioned as a supplement, but it looks like a chocolate. Like, why don't I just buy a gummy? Gummies have exploded because there've been more and more folks and companies entering the market. And we feel that more companies entering the chocolate space will lift the category.
But gummies are mostly it's a candy, and it's not as potent as it should be. So for a lot of people, like 90% of the gummies out there are pretty much candy. It's just they're not super strong.
Yeah, there's some that test well and like I believe have strong efficacy claims, but there's others that there's probably not a whole lot in there. And like from our perspective, we're very transparent in what we put in the label. We list everything, and like we have a 2-gram piece size. There's only so much active material you can get into that. And the same way with gummies, that they're saying there's 5,000 milligrams of this, of this, of this. It doesn't make sense because you can't fit that amount of active into a gummy that's 2 grams. There's got to be pectin and other like sugar alcohols. So that's like another area that we're trying to be a little bit more transparent in terms of like, there's some formulations we will never be able to do on a chocolate because you need to get 5 grams of active into a 2-gram piece size.
The creatine?
It's not possible. Creatine, they do it by 1. You can't fit 5 into 2, but that's
you have like 5 candies.
You have to have 5 of them.
Yeah.
So there's people that are transparent on that, but there's also companies that say they're fitting 2 grams into a 3-gram piece size, which is not possible.
Makes sense.
Interesting. Is creatine something you're thinking of getting into?
Not right now. The question there would then be, it's an extremely fast growing category. Like hydration is the fastest category, or one of the fastest categories within supplements. And the thought there for a lot of companies is you can jump in there and peel off some of that demand. That's where an Amazon business makes a lot of sense, where you can create a similar product for a better price point and steal off demand that's already generated on Amazon. For us as a chocolate, that's not necessarily the case because people aren't searching for chocolate. So we need to create the demand, and that's where we need the capital and the team and the resources to generate that demand. Creatine is potentially going to be one of those. Protein has always been huge, but protein is having a resurgence right now. So we've been asked by retailers or other folks to make those. We have a 7-product assortment right now, so we want to be rational on how wide or how quickly we go, or how wide we go and how quickly, because every new product takes money and ties up cash, and you need to have a marketing budget if you launch it. So we want to be thoughtful on what we launch next.
I remember it must have been 2018, 2019, and I'm standing in line at Whole Foods, and for the first time ever, I see this little box, okay, yay big, like a small thing, and it had like a blue sun, and there was another one that's the yellow sun.
Them and Adora were some. It's Good Day. Them and Adora were one of the first chocolate companies.
Interesting. And I remember seeing that for the first time. I was like, wow, that's crazy. It's like chocolate to be more awake, or chocolate to help you fall asleep. But what's interesting is I bought it once. I'm like, this is cool. And then I never bought it again because I already tried it. And this whole time I'm thinking, like, how do you not just be something you try once, but something that becomes a part of your routine, about like have something that's a part of somebody's like identity almost? And that I feel like is, if you can crack that with your story to touch on a very deep pain point, that will explode the business.
Yeah. No,
Especially on the marketing side.
You're spot on there. It's like, how do you create an emotional connection to a brand or a product as opposed to something you just pick up and try once? That's where we've seen like really helping, like a true pain point. Like, yes, I would say sleep is definitely one of those, but sleep is very competitive. But something from a skin perspective or hair perspective, and we even feel like stress is a big one. If you can help someone unwind, not just knock out at the end of the night, but really unwind, or help their complexion from like a skin hydration perspective, or like someone saying, hey, I've been getting compliments from someone at work on my complexion and skin. That is like creating the emotional connection for the product. So we've seen that as like a huge focus for us right now, is like, how do we create an emotional connection to a product that we're selling so that they not only want to repurchase, but they want to continue taking it and tell their friends about it. Because that's the best customer you can have, is someone who wants to speak and speak to others. And it's been fun. We were doing some customer polls on figuring out who these people are, and the reception's been incredible. Like, they're like, once they realize like you're the founder, this is your story, they want to spill everything about like how this has changed their life or helped them. Like, we had someone, this individual or woman had an autistic child, and they needed to give their child a high dose of B12 shot, I think weekly or bi-monthly. And they were able to, instead of doing a shot, which is about like 5,000 to 10,000 micrograms, we're able to give their child our chocolates. And it like completely changed her perspective on how she could help her child be more, stick to this health routine.
And instantly turned the customer into an
She
evangelist.
she absolutely loved everything about that. Like, we sent her a huge care package, sent her other products.
That's amazing.
And B12 is a much smaller product for us now, but that's one we'll always maintain, just because it was like why we started the business. And there's a lot of people that we were able to help that had very like specific use cases for the product.
That's great.
Do you have any other stories like that? Things where you see your product being used, you hear a testimonial, and you're just like, wow, like,
seeing your product in retail for the first time is pretty cool, and seeing someone buy it for the first time, and then eavesdropping on someone like telling someone else about this, like, oh, this actually like was incredible. It helped. We were in Chicago, I think, and we were overhearing someone at a Whole Foods say that, like, I get extremely dry skin in the winter, but it's not that cold where we are right now. But like in Chicago, for example, with the wind, like that, she was basically saying like, I cake on all these serums, like I put everything on, and like my face by midday is like peely and crusty. Like, this saved me. Like, I can actually like not worry about what I look like. Don't rush to the bathroom every day. I don't have like dry and flaky skin anymore. Like, it's incredible.
and you just eavesdropped that. You just heard that.
So I asked that after I heard her say something like to that, to like someone, to a friend, like, this has been incredible. And I was eavesdropping, and then I eventually went over and said hi. I didn't hear that whole story. I kind of, but it was like a bit of that where she was like an evangelist and evangelist. Yes, she was evangelizing the product. Thank you. And it was like wild. Like,
I was in Florida once, and we were shopping at Sprouts. That's kind of the store that we typically went for, because we go for 3-4 weeks every year. And I went into Sprouts to look if I can find Snap products. And obviously I did. And I was looking at them, taking picture. And this guy comes up, one of the workers, and he's like, hey, can I help you? No. He's like, can I help you? Can I answer some questions? I'm like, hey, how are these Snap products doing? And he started saying really good things, exactly what I wanted to hear.
And then you don't tell him who you are at first.
Of course I did.
No.
And then towards the end, I did. I said, well, I'm one of the founders and one of the partners. And he's like, whoa, cool. Yeah, these products are doing well. This is the number one product. It was the Beats, and he was saying a lot of people buy it.
That's so cool.
And some things he didn't know about it. For example, that we don't have sugar in it. The other competitors do. We're sugar-free. We have stevia. And he didn't even know that. And we're organic. He knew about organic. He knew about most things, but he wasn't fully educated on the quality of the product. It still was cool because
it's really cool. But then as the founder, you want to like tell them the whole story, and then you're like, how can I tell everyone this?
Yes, and I agree that the competitive advantage that smaller brands have versus the big boys that you see in Costco and so on is you can actually create that emotional connection. And you have to use that at your advantage early on before you become like a
We've done that, but I think that's something we haven't done as much or as well as we should have. Like every time we've visited a couple stores and talked to regional managers and like across their different stores or retailers, I mean, they love talking to the founders or anyone who's involved in the business and like the story. They love samples, like anything. And then you look at the data and you see that that store is now one of your top performers.
Well, you've heard of Ballerina Farms.
Oh yeah.
Same thing. It's a story. It's emotional connection. It relates to a lot of people. It's such a story that everyone wants to be in that story. And how do you become part of that story? You buy their product, right? But not everyone can experience buying a farm, going all this. No, but you can buy the product and you can participate in that story. And that's why I think Ballerina Farms and brands like hers work. And we should use that at our advantage for the smaller brands. We should.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are missing. They try to hide behind, they hide behind the brand. No, you gotta be out there the way you are. Maybe you're not a public speaker. Maybe you don't have these qualities that you should have or you think you should have. No, you just jump in and just be there. Be authentic, be real, be who you are, and just tell them the story. And people that will like you, they will relate, they'll be your customers forever. Yeah?
Well said.
Absolutely.
David, any other questions? I want to ask you, we'll think of a question.
Yeah, fire away.
In the next 3 to 5 years, what's the goal? Also, exit plans.
I mean, the goal in 3 to 5 years is to have Source be a household name.
What is that? Revenue?
We want to be 100 million
100
million trailing revenue within the next 5 years, if not less.
Okay. And
a lot of
do
stepping
you
stones
plan to exit?
We brought on outside investors, and so of course the plan is to exit at some point to bring liquidity to those early investors. There's a couple pathways for that, but the focus now is on building the brand and getting it to a point where that 9-figure run rate is in sight.
Yeah, I think you have a solid chance with your delivery, non-traditional delivery format, and the supplements category is it's growing, and it's projected to be $70 billion.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just growing. The awareness of supplements is growing. Everybody knows, and they think. Very rarely, I know people that don't take supplements. All the millennials are taking supplements, and Gen Z and the Gen X, they realize it starts from sports nutrition and quickly turns into wellness and just daily vitamins and so on and so on. So most of the guys I know that are really health conscious, they take up to 5 supplements a day.
Oh yeah.
So how many supplements do you take?
I take 3 medications a day, which are prescription, and then I take 2 of our products daily, and then I take a couple SNAP products now. So I have my hypertension, which I have. I also have a history of cholesterol, and I do not want to go on a statin. So I was talking with Vlad and the SNAP team about some of their products that can help maintain or lower my cholesterol without taking a statin. So I've been taking 2 of the SNAP products daily, and then I will occasionally take 1 other SNAP product, but then I do take another magnesium as well, which is from another brand.
Do the SNAP products like the beets, does that actually help lower your blood pressure? Is that accurate?
It does.
It does. I take almost certain Redoxonol. I cannot stop that. I at some point would like to test coming off that and just taking.
Just test it.
I need to just give it a little bit of time. I had such high prolonged blood pressure that coupled with the cholesterol, I shouldn't do both. I'm testing high blood pressure and high cholesterol is a recipe for a heart attack. And
so you're taking cholesterol health, right?
Yeah.
Is that helping you?
Yeah, it is. I have a blood panel next week.
We actually well, let me know how that goes. But we actually have some people that we're doing the combination of our beets and our nitric oxide and seeing extremely good results. And also a guy that you know from the office, he was taking the heart health supplement, the actual heart health supplement, not the beets.
Yeah.
And he said within weeks he normalizes, and then he goes back to
From a
his
cholesterol
lifestyle. No, blood pressure.
Blood pressure.
All right, I might actually have to try that.
Yeah.
I can give a week. I can give a week of high blood pressure potentially.
No, well, you
Change
can
one variable at a time.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
can you can measure it, but honestly, it's a very good product.
Okay. I mean, I you'll know the thing with blood pressure versus cholesterol is blood pressure is immediate. It's like if I miss
Exactly.
a day, if I miss a day of almost my prescription, it's not like I can take two the next day. It's like every day that it's acute. So like every day is a new day effectively. So like if Beats or this product from Snap works, you should know in within an hour.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So if anyone has high blood pressure, hypertension, get it checked out.
I mean, it's serious stuff.
Yeah, it's no joke. A question I want to ask is, Vlad always says, if I knew what it took to open up and start a supplement company, I would have never done it. Do you have the same feeling towards Source?
I go back and forth on that, honestly. It's been incredible, the people I've met. I think there's definitely been some like highs and lows, and some lows are very challenging and stressful, especially working with your partner or your wife or spouse. It's very hard to distinguish and separate. Like I would say we do a very good job of separating work and personal life, but it's really hard to not like have that be intertwined at times. I would still have done it. There's definitely been times where maybe I would have had a different perspective on that, but I feel like we've persevered through a couple issues and pain points that have allowed us to grow as a team.
I want to explain myself. So when I said that, I mostly meant it from a investment standpoint, from my time versus equals result. So time, money equals result. It's extremely hard. Am I happy with the result where Snap is right now? Absolutely yes. But chances that if I do this again, chances are very likely I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna burn a bunch of money and I'm gonna lose a lot of time. And it was my prime time. So that's what it meant when I was talking about that.
If I would say I would if there is another, I would 100% start another company after we have to build Source into a household name. Like I feel like it depends on what the category.
Or you would?
Would.
You would start.
I wouldn't jump into something immediately. I would. There's a lot of things I would look for, but the learnings from this, I think, would pay dividends for anything else in the future.
So my answer is I wouldn't start in a supplement company.
Oh, I would not necessarily saying supplement.
Oh, okay.
I thought you meant company. Like, there's a lot of ideas.
No.
Like
We're talking about supplement brand.
I'd be very more cautious on that.
Yeah.
I would wait, and if there was a category that I felt that was exploding, or had the potential to explode, that you could, that had and some embedded demand, and like that's kind of a random word, but like something that you can launch on an Amazon or launch on .com, and immediately consumers will understand what it is, and it does not take a lot of money to educate.
Basically low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, low-hanging fruit, but something that's like hydration would be one that like if you launch a hydration product today, you probably will be in a reasonably good position.
Yeah, but there's 100+ hydration guys.
There's a lot of so creatine or protein could be one.
Okay. Hydration
is that, I would say 3 years ago or 4 years ago would have been the moment for that. Creatine or protein could be that. Fiber could be that. And supplements. I would be cautious though on supplements because, like Vlad said, it's extremely competitive, low barriers to entry. Anyone can launch it.
Okay.
One question we always ask is, what would you tell your younger self, your former self, who's just starting up this company? What advice would you give them, knowing what you know now?
Don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for feedback. Like, be open to talking to anyone. Because like relationships and the human aspect is like your most valuable asset. and networking and speaking to anyone is how you can meet people who can introduce you to retailers, to buyers, to investors. For the longest time, I was a little hesitant to do that earlier in my career. But people, if you're genuine and tell a story and genuinely want to communicate with someone, people are very open and receptive to that. You'd be surprised.
Sounds good. Well, Andrew, this was pleasure.
This is fun.
I do feel that we have more to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I actually want to talk about when you said that we balance our relationship with my wife and she's my business partner. So that's something that we should definitely talk more about in the next episode.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a continuation of your journey.
Yeah, the balance of working as a couple is a fun one. Not everyone can do it, but I think we've done it pretty well. And I think having complementary skill sets and staying in your lane is crucial to that. But ultimately, like having a foundation and trust, and I think it's an asset. Some people don't want to ever back or support a husband-wife duo, but I think it's the greatest relationship you can have.
I mean, you understand why there's risks, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Andrew.
Awesome.
It was
Thanks,
a
guys.
pleasure.